Welcome to Petite Professionals. Today I have the honor of interviewing Diana. Thank you for being on Petite Professionals.
Of course, I'm so excited to chat with you. And we were introduced by the beautiful Crystal Cavey.
Oh,
So
yes.
this is going to be a wonderful conversation.
I know I am very grateful for her. Okay, so what is your current career title?
I am an account manager for Paychecks. And I hesitate a little bit because I'm actually in sales and I don't even really know what my official title is because we don't really position ourselves as sales professionals. We're more of account managers. However, really I am in sales helping our clients at Paychecks implement retirement plans. And if for anyone that doesn't know, Paychecks is a leading payroll provider for small businesses around the nation. And I'm lucky enough to work with our existing payroll clients and helping them implement those retirement plans.
That's awesome. Okay, so my work, we just had we have like 401k day. So is that kind of like with retirement plan?
I love that. Yeah. So we only help our small businesses with 401k plans. We don't do anything like IRAs or SEPs or which you're probably like, oh gosh, what is all of that? Right. But we only do 401ks at Paychecks. And I don't know what your 401k day was like. However, I can tell you this. I just started there at the beginning of August. And at the beginning of August 2025, now that we're in a new year, and I have hit the ground running and made such a huge impact. But I had no experience with retirement before that. And to be able to pick it up as quickly as I did and now have all this expertise, I would have loved to have been a fly on that wall for your 401k day.
I can send you some notes that we did. But
Do so because I would be little like a nerd reading all of it because I'm so fascinated by it now and it can certainly change some people's lives.
no, that's awesome. And I'm not surprised that you're super successful because this is my first time speaking to you virtually, but I've definitely seen you on social media and you are such a working queen too. I mean, you're constantly doing stuff. So you're very ambitious, I can tell.
Oh, thank you. I work really, 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 really hard. So thank you for saying that.
Of course. Okay, so my next question is, do you mind sharing some of like your education and your prior work experience that have gotten you to where you are right now?
Yeah, I love this because I have such a unique background. I actually originally went to school in college to become a pharmacist, believe it or not. I
Ooh.
know, I know. I went to St. John Fisher University, which is in upstate New York in Rochester, New York. Small little college. The Wegmans School of Pharmacy is there, and if you know anything about Wegmans, they've got a good name. Like Wegmans, the supermarket, the grocery store Wegmans, they are named after that pharmacy school at St. John Fisher. So it was the place to be. And of course, it was no surprise that I originally wanted to go for pharmacy at Fisher, which is in my hometown in New York. After 1 year as an undergrad in biology, I realized that that was quickly not for me. And it was actually when I first was starting to get really interested and pursue my pageant career, which led me down the path of knowing that pharmacy wasn't for me and something along the lines of communication of some sort. Public speaking was something that was more that I was passionate about, and I knew immediately that I should be pursuing media and communication. I actually had the dream of becoming a news anchor. I wanted to work for E! News and be an entertainment news broadcaster. I was the editor in chief of our student run news organization at St. John Fisher, which taught me so much. I love telling stories. I love writing. My husband will tell you I love asking questions, which is no surprise that I reason why I wanted to become a journalist. I'm so inquisitive and it was just it make I'm so passionate about it even today. And I in college volunteered with the Alzheimer's Association. My grandmother had dementia for 10 years and that was actually my very first pageant platform, giving back for those that had dementia in honor of my grandmother. So I was doing a lot of volunteer work with the Alzheimer's Association. And I love telling this story because I graduated college and my mom wanted to take my sister and I on a nice, graduation trip. She thought it was going to be like our last hurrah before we went off and got married and did our things. And she was probably right in her thinking. And I was sitting in a beach chair in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I know, I can't make this up. I get an email from one of the leaders at the Alzheimer's Association at the time. They saw my volunteer work that I did, and they said, "Do you want a job?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I don't have a job offer yet, so I would love the job. You just graduated college, you get a real big girl job. It's exciting. You're going to take whatever comes your way." And it was something that I was super passionate about originally. So it was just a no brainer. And I originally started there in focusing on my degree in marketing, but also using that marketing degree to help raise funds because I was in the development division. So we were raising funds and awareness for Alzheimer's and dementia, and we were trying to raise revenue for our nonprofit arm in terms to be able to offer those programs and services. So I learned a lot about business development and growing businesses. Although nonprofit really isn't sales, you are growing revenue for the organization. From there, of course, you need to grow in your career and make more money too, let's be honest. So, I took another role, and it was actually in the for-profit space, and it was helping the sales team develop leads and help the sales team be successful. And oh gosh, I know this is a long-winded, but I think it's a beautiful story to hear because it's so unique. And when I started at the next company that I was at called Visual DX, helping the sales team, it was more like medical sales. I started there at the end of 2019, and yeah, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
And then March 2020 rolled around, and I remember I sat right next to the HR department in my like little cubicle. They sent everyone home. We were a medical device company in the middle of the pandemic. Think about
And
that. Yeah,
yeah.
and they sent everyone home. And I remember it like it was yesterday, saying, waving to HR on my way out and saying, "See you in a week." Truly, truly, see you in a week. And the world flipped upside down. And now I've been working at home longer than I have ever worked in the office, which is
Oh wow.
crazy to think about. Yeah, because I graduated college in 2018. So think just for timing perspective for people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then life happened, and I was actually in a networking group, and one of the branch managers for a worldwide staffing agency recruiting said, "Hey, I think you'd actually be a really good recruiter. Do you want the job?" I'm like, "You can't make this up. You just can't make this up. Like, this is just," and I was like, "Sure, I don't even know what a recruiter does, but I'll do the job. And if it does something with marketing and sales, like that's my background. So let's do it." And
Hmm.
that was during the pandemic as well. And I fell in love with recruiting. And this will make sense for you because nonprofit work is mission driven. You're helping people. Well, in recruiting, yes, it's not nonprofit work, but you're helping people find employment. There was
Hmm.
nothing more rewarding than having someone sit on the other end of the phone and their family just l- losing their minds because they're finally no longer unemployed and they've got a job. And you were the reason that somebody was able to find employment after how long being unemployed. There was nothing more gratifying than that. So, after my career there, I then actually moved. My husband's in the Army. So we moved from New York, our hometown, to New Jersey. And believe it or not, there are recruiters for recruiters. So I know, I had a recruiter reach out to me when we moved, and they recruited me for a position with the staffing agency close to New Jersey, right in Philadelphia. For those that don't know, it's about an hour and a half away from where I lived. And I started employment there with a more smaller boutique staffing agency. I loved it. Everything was great. They had some turnover in terms of the business was struggling. The last few years, the economy hasn't been that great. And when companies aren't hiring, there's no need for a staffing agency. I learned a lot there, and I learned a lot about hard work and how to grow your business from nothing, especially with it being more of a startup company. They laid off a lot of people, and unfortunately, um, I got laid off. Yeah, I got, and no, it's totally okay. I mean, as for when I got hired, this was very nerve-wracking. And I share this because hopefully some people find hope in my story. When I got hired, within the first few months, they started laying people off. And I remember calling my recruiter and saying, I thought you said that this is gonna like be a long-term fit and they're laying people off. I was really scared. And
Yeah.
luckily I was able to last 3 years because I did such a good job. But the company is completely different now. No one that I started with is there, unfortunately. So I wish them all of the best, but found myself in a situation like so many others that got laid off. It was really terrifying for me because at the end of May, I had just won a national pageant. And a month later, I got laid off. My life lived upside down in more ways than one. I took on this huge responsibility, which is an incredible blessing as a national title holder. However, I was found unemployed and had to find a job. The recruiter is now unemployed. And I knew I was going to be fine. I called my husband and told him, and he said, "Wow, I just can't believe how calm you are." And I said to him, I said, "Listen, I know what I have to offer. I'm going to be fine. I help people find jobs. I can do this. I have so much to offer." Within 2 weeks, I had so many job offers. The first day that I was laid off, I don't know how, but my current boss, he sent me a message on LinkedIn telling me to apply to his job. And my life and my husband's life and the people at my current company and the people that I've been helping has changed drastically. And there are so many blessings and things that seem like could be catastrophic, and there is a plan for you. So if somebody is listening to my story and you feel hopeless out of college and you might not be pursuing that dream that you thought you might have originally wanted to, like me as a news anchor, there is a plan for you, and it is going to lead you down a more beautiful path than you could have ever imagined. And if you find yourself in situations where you have to move to new territory or out of state, or you find yourself laid off, there are so many things that I've learned through my experiences that can help people. And just know that you can always go up. There's hope at the end of the tunnel, and everything happens for a reason. And there's going to be a beautiful pot of gold waiting at that end of the rainbow when you get through that hump. So that was a very long answer. However, I do think it is important to have the full picture.
No, that's incredible. Thank you for sharing that. A couple things. I love that your pageant experience helped you find your first like big girl job.
Yes.
And then your ability to be flexible and say yes to opportunities and recognize your skill set. So I think that's amazing. And I appreciate you sharing that. And um, I have to tell you, so when I was pregnant with my son, I got let go at my company
Oh.
because they went out of business. But then I found an amazing job after that. So it's sometimes there's some tough hiccups, but
Mhm.
I love that you shared that you found a really great company, and
Thank you.
that's awesome.
Thank
Okay.
you. Likewise for you too. Likewise for you too. You deserve the kudos too.
Thank you. But it's so true. Things happen. Like life happens. Like you won a national pageant. So awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
And
Thank
then
you.
that happens. It's just life. So
Mhm.
that's very keeping it real, and I like that.
Thank you.
Um, okay, so what is a piece of advice that you would give someone that is looking to follow in your career steps or
Oh,
your
follow it. Yeah, that's a great question because I think about this often, especially being a recruiter. So, for somebody that's right out of college, well, actually, let's back up. For somebody that's in college, because I think this is where people go wrong, especially having experience as a recruiter. When you are in college and you are chasing a dream or a goal, you have to put yourself in situations that will align you with that goal. And I say this a lot of times when I speak to universities and colleges because I do that across the nation, helping them prepare for interviews, LinkedIn, resume, um, interviewing, whatever it may be. I help them prepare for that moment. And one of the things that I say to them is, what is your dream job? I ask them that and I have them say it out loud. And then I say, what are you doing today to get to that dream job? And nine times out of, well, more than 9 times out of 10, they say, well, I'm here in school getting my bachelor's degree. I'm like, okay, well, look around. You're graduating with a class of how much? 1,000, 2,000, everybody is walking around with that same degree. They're going to walk away with that same degree. What are you doing to set yourself apart from everybody that's walking away with that same piece of paper? So I say, put yourself in situations that will set you up for success for that dream job. Are you doing internships that matter, that align with your dream job? Are you doing job shadowing interviews with people that are doing your dream job? Are you networking with people at the company that you want to work for? If the answer is no, you're behind because there are people that are doing those things that you aren't doing. And I can assure you that if I did those three things when pursuing my dream of being a news anchor, we would be having a very different conversation today because I would have probably been a news anchor. But you don't know what you don't know. And if you're not doing clubs in college that aren't aligned with what you want to do, and you aren't taking advantage of every opportunity that that college or university has to offer for you, you're behind and you're burning the money that you are paying to that university to be enrolled because those are the things that are going to set you up for success. And I know as a college student, all you want to do is you want to have fun and hang out with your friends and do the late night dinners at the dining hall. However, take that time very, very, very seriously. And if I could have done it again, and I took my college very, very, very seriously. I was so studious, more than the normal person. However, I would have told myself to be a little bit more courageous and go outside my comfort zone, look for those internships, be bold when asking for what I want and connecting with people that I wanted to be around. So that would be my first piece of advice for people that are actually in college looking to enter that workforce. And if you are starting over and you've already done college and you're re-entering the workforce, take time to do those things that I just mentioned. Align yourself with those people, those internships, those events, those networking events that will help you integrate yourself in that dream job that you want. And for people that are already outside of college and have surfed past that or taking that next leap in their career, this is so true. The first job that you take out of college is going to set your entire career, the trajectory of your entire career. Because if I would have taken a job at a news station, I would have probably moved up in a news station. Even though
Mhm.
the nonprofit job that I had was marketing related, it was also business development sales related. And then the next job that I took after that was based off of the experience that I had at the nonprofit. So if I really was in a news station, maybe I was a local reporter, maybe I was on the assignment desk, maybe I was an editor, I would then have that experience that would have led me to a job maybe within a news station that paid a little bit more, that was a promotion. So whatever job you take right out of college, know that your next job is going to build off of that experience regardless of what your degree is. So I say be selective, wait until the opportunity that comes along that you really want because that's going to set you up for the rest of your life. And specific to sales, quickly, I'll say, oh gosh, there's so much that I could say here. However, I would find a product that you're very, very, very passionate about because there's nothing wrong with medical sales. However, for me, I've found it very intimidating to communicate with doctors and chief medical officers. I felt like they could talk circles around me, and to be able to sell a product to them, that was difficult for me. Standing behind a product right now like retirement that changes people's lives, I mean, there are people that I speak to that are 5, 10 years away from retirement or are at retirement age and have nothing saved for their retirement. And the fact that I am able to help them retire so they don't have to worry, even if it is 5, 10 more years, that's really rewarding, which should be no surprise for anybody that is listening because I'm so passionate about helping people. So find a product that you're really passionate about selling and find a really, really, really good leader that sets you up for success. And if you are going to work for a startup, I just caution you, right? Because you are going to be the reason why the business is successful or not being in sales. I'm not saying don't do it. Certainly go for it. Just make sure that the longevity that might be there or might not be there. Just know what you're getting yourself into before you enter an organization, a leadership team, and knowing the product that you're selling. So hopefully that helps anybody that might be navigating out of college or transitioning careers or looking to get into sales.
That, thank you. That is wonderful advice. I love that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, what is something you do for like work-life balance?
Oh. That is such a hard question for me. And you probably knew right away. And the reason why at this point in my life it's hard for me is because I shared a little bit with you, but I got laid off a month after winning a national pageant and having an immense responsibility. And then having to learn a job that is quota driven quickly and meet that quota and still maintain my responsibility as a national title holder has been I'll be honest, it hasn't been easy. It really hasn't. You wouldn't know from the outside looking in because I think I do a pretty good job. However, it has been a challenge. However, I do make sure every single day I start my day with a workout. Because I grew up as a competitive gymnast and I consider myself more an athlete than anything else today. So that time in the morning at 5 a.m. before anyone wakes up, before anyone can call me, some people, are up at that hour and send me a text, right? But that's my me time. So if I start my day fueling myself, then I can give to everyone else that I might be helping in the day. And I will be honest, I could not do this without the support of my family and my husband. I haven't sat down once yet today, and it is past 8 o'clock here. And my husband is a saint. He's so patient and he's so helpful. The fact that I have that type of support while I pursue my dreams and build my career is something that I don't take for granted. So, starting my day each day with a clear mind and heart, and then knowing that I can fall back on my support system and taking my time on the weekends to reset. Like, I cannot start the work week without a clean house and doing my nails. Like that is my reset. That just goes to show like a fresh new manicure. I mean, come on. Like that just
Yes.
gives you the confidence that you need to have a great work week. So if I can start, take advantage of that weekend to reset, that really helps me. And then every single day you have to know your priorities. It really comes down to knowing your priorities and knowing what is most important and what can be put off until tomorrow and what is needed today. And if that load of laundry doesn't happen until tomorrow, then it doesn't happen until tomorrow. And I think that's really what it comes down to.
Yes. I I love that answer. The nails and the workout. That's wonderful.
The honest truth.
That's, so my house where we are really big on having like a cleaning day, but we moved it from Saturday to Sunday because I'm like, I need Saturday to like breathe. And then
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon we can power clean and get laundry going and
Oh,
stuff.
I know. It's like, oh, it's here again. Like, didn't we just do that?
Like, how do
Oh,
we go through so much clothes?
I
Like,
know. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're caught up. I'm like, oh my gosh, again.
well, do you mind if we switch gears and I ask you a
Yeah.
couple questions about pageantry?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, so what's your pageant background, like your experience?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's kind of as long as my career. No, I'm just kidding. I'll try to keep it pretty brief. However, it's funny. It kind of does follow my career path. However, I actually, as some of you already know from listening along, I grew up as a competitive gymnast and was totally a tomboy through and through. Had no interest in competing in pageants at all. And you've maybe heard this story once or twice from other pageant women. However, in 2013, when I was a teenager, I got a letter in the mail. I got a letter in the mail, asking me to participate in a pageant. And I'll just be very transparent. I'm usually not, but I will be transparent here for this sake. Since I'm showing up as Diana, I got a letter in the mail for National American Miss to compete in the teen division. At the time, like I said, I was a teen. I think I was a junior. No, the first year I was a junior in high school. Yeah. And my mom, of course, was the one that said, Diana, you gotta try it. And I was like, no way. It interferes with my gymnastics banquet. That's not me at all. I'm not doing it. And my mom said, you just let's just do it together. We'll make it a girls thing. Let's just try it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. So we went to the informational session and I remember it like it was yesterday. I saw like the junior teen or preteen queen. She was younger than me, so she had to be the preteen title holder at the time. She stood there in a white two-piece suit. And I thought to myself, wow, she is stunning, confident, and she can talk to adults. Say no more. My type A personality needs that. And after that informational session, I was like, yep, I'm doing this. I came back for like round two, the pageant prep session. That first year, there was 70 girls, over 70 girls that, yeah, first pageant ever, no training, had no idea what I was doing. I wore a way too big that needed tailored Calvin Klein two-piece pantsuit for interview and a prom dress that just, yeah, should never be seen again. Uh, and somehow I made the top 10. And yeah, and then the next year I came back and I was so inspired. I was like, I'm doing everything I can. I watched that like video over and over and over again of the last year's pageant because I wanted it so bad. I wanted to be that girl that people looked up to. I wanted to be that confident person. And I happened to come back that next year. I got like a local pageant coach that helped me from my hometown in New York, who's actually a former Miss USA, believe it or not. Yeah,
Oh,
I know. Kind of cool that my hometown has a former USA there. And I happened to win. At that time, the New York teen title for National American Miss, there was still like 70 girls. It was just, it was crazy to win and change. My life changed overnight. At that point, my mom gave me an ultimatum like, you can't play the flute, you can't do gymnastics as a competitive gymnast, and you can't do pageants. So, and you can't have like three jobs. So you have to like let something go. So I knew gymnastics wasn't going to be my forever thing at that point. So, I transitioned out of gymnastics. And at that time, I was a senior in high school, transitioning into college. So it made a little bit more sense. Then from there, I went to nationals, had no idea what I was doing. I didn't place. And then I knew I needed to do something. Like there was still like a goal that wanted to be accomplished. So I started competing in the Miss America organization right when my year was up. I won the NAM title in 2014. So my year ended at the end of 2015. And then 2016, I started competing in Miss America locals. I only competed in one that year because I was still naive. I had no idea that you could compete in more than one local
okay.
in a
No,
year.
same, same.
Right? Yeah, I was like, oh well, I guess I gotta wait till next year. No, like that's how new I still was in pageants. I still had no idea really what I was doing. And so, then the next year rolled around and I said, Mom, like we gotta win this. Like I want to be service style, scholarship success. Like my ultimate goal was to be Miss New York and Miss America. Like it was what I lived, breathed, and ate like every day. So, I got a really serious coach at the time. 2017, I competed. My mom, she took me everywhere. We were flying to New York City. We were flying here. Like I just competed in so many locals. I never won. I never won a local that year. And I remember asking a judge after the pageant, I said, what am I doing? Like every single pageant, every local, I feel like I'm learning something. And I'm like, yeah, I got it. Like the next time around, like it's going to be my time. And for whatever reason, it just was never my time. And that judge said to me, just keep competing, keep growing, keep competing. And at the time, I didn't understand it. But then, the next year in 2018, I competed and I won my local. And I understood at that time that like I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I just wasn't the version that I needed to be successful at that time. And I was glad I didn't give up on myself. I was Miss Finger Lakes 2018 and competed at the Miss New York pageant. And that was the year Nia Franklin won Miss New York and then won Miss America. And I mean, at the time, it was my biggest accomplishment making top 10 at Miss New York. I mean, that was when they still had bathing suit, and it just was like my proudest moment. I worked so hard for that. I was so hard for that. My talent was flute. I'm a flautist. I played the Carnival of Venice. I memorized it on my flute, which is a very difficult piece, and I still have nightmares about it today. So it just goes to show you, how proud I was to be able to accomplish that. And then I'm sure some are aware that the Miss America organization changed, and I'll be honest with you, it broke my heart. It really did after spending so much time like that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. And then the organization that I loved wasn't the same anymore. It really, really took a long time for me to get over that hump. There are so many moments when that organization changed where I remember vividly, how difficult it was for me. And of course, then at that point, I met my husband. And life doesn't go on hold for love, right? So I got married and I was young at the time, and I had known the director of the Mrs. New York America system for quite a while. I competed 7 months into my marriage. I was very young. I was like 25. And I had won the Mrs. New York American title that year and then was top 10, top 12 or whatever it was at Mrs. American, which I was super proud of because I was super young, barely married. Um, yeah, I was just super proud of myself. And then, after that, I thought I was probably done. I wasn't really sure. I didn't know. USOA was always on my mind. And my really good friend, who actually was my roommate at Mrs. American, Elisa Bailey Stevens. I don't know if you've come across
Oh,
her. She's from
yes,
Illinois. Yeah.
yes, yes.
I watched her compete at USOA, and I just was in awe of everything that was USOA, and watching somebody that was such a role model for me be so successful there. I was like, well, maybe I can do this. And Danielle, our first USOA misses, actually won National American Miss the year that I competed at nationals. So she was, yeah. So we competed against each other at National American Miss when we were both state title holders, and she won. And the fact that she was the first USOA Misses, there were just so many serendipitous things, as I can say, that led me to USOA. And I competed in New Jersey because at the time, my husband and I, we've been living in New Jersey for 2 years. I was so fortunate enough to walk away with the USOA Mrs. New Jersey title on my first try, and I knew, thank you. I knew that that was going to be my last hurrah, and everyone knew it. Like, this is it. Like, my ultimate goal was to be a national title holder in my 13-year journey. And if this was going to be my moment, then it was going to either happen or it wasn't. So if I didn't win that state title, yeah, no, that was going to be it. Like, that was my sign. So, luckily I won that state title, and I know Crystal, she'll tell you that. Oh, I didn't leave one stone unturned. Even before I signed up for that state pageant, when I was a local title holder, when I was a state title holder and a national title holder, I mean, I've given it my entire all because I knew that if this journey was meant for me, I was going to have to give it more than I ever gave anything ever in my life. And I can truly tell you that I'd never, ever, ever worked so hard for something in my life. And I'm just so thankful that this journey was meant for me. There are so many moments where I just feel like this was a pinch me moment. Like, how did this happen to me? How did I get so blessed to be able to inspire so many people and be this incredible brand ambassador for the organization? I just feel so honored. I mean, it's a responsibility I don't take lightly. And I know that you're competing in petite, and I'll say this because it's so true. I mean, I'm 5'1". And you know how many times people say to me, "Oh my gosh, you're so tiny," or "You're so short." And you know what I want to say? Well, yeah, I mean, you're a giant. Like, I would never say that to them, right? Who, right? So, but there were so many times that in my pageant career I was doubted because of my size or my potential. And a lot of the reasons why I picked USOA was because I knew it was just such a prestigious organization. And that if I was able to win, I could show people that regardless of where you come from, how tall you are, if you're tiny or not, it doesn't matter. You're a powerhouse and you deserve to be on that stage, regardless of how tall you are. If you're petite or not, you deserve a place on that stage. And it really was a fuel for me throughout my entire pageant career to just prove everyone wrong that I could do it. I mean, I'll share this quickly because I've been talking for a little bit about this for a while. But I remember till this day, and this sits in my head as an adult, I was a child sitting in my hairdresser's chair. And they said to me when I started my modeling and pageant career, "Oh, good luck. You're never going to make it." Like, there's so many people that try, you're never going to make it. And and that's true. That stayed in my head forever. And there were so many people that doubted me along my way in my journey. And I was like, no, like, I'm going to prove you all wrong. And I'm going to have the best year as a national title holder and show you how it's supposed to be done. And I'm going to do it regardless of the things that you think shouldn't make me be successful. And I did it. And I'm so, so proud that I never gave up on myself, because truly my year is a year of hard work, consistency, resilience, all of the things. But it's really a year to show people that regardless of your circumstances, and if people doubt you or whatever may be in place that will hold you back, they don't matter. You dictate your future. You dictate yourself. Silence those things and those people that make you feel like you're less than, because really you're not. That's just an insecurity that they're putting on you, and show the world what you are made of, queen, because it is limitless and you are bound by nothing unless you let it, but you are bound by nothing if you don't let it. So,
Yeah. I love your tenacity. It is just
oh,
wonderful.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I have to tell you, so I have been my height since fifth grade. I went from being like the tallest girl to like the shortest. But that
Okay.
I started like I would go to like modeling auditions and stuff, but I constantly my height was something that was like in the negative column. And
Hmm.
so I love that, you're like, hey, it doesn't matter what height you are, like get out there, be on that stage. And that's one thing I have noticed. I've watched USOA's national pageant pretty much every year for the last like 4 years or so. And all the queens are beautiful, but they're all very different and they all have like
Hmm.
different platforms and different missions. So I really like the variety.
Yeah.
Um, which leads me to, what is your platform?
Oh, well, it should be no surprise for some people that have followed me over the years. However, my platform is reaching for a fearless future. I started this, oh gosh, 10 years ago to help teens recognize their potential and step boldly into that potential and build confidence at every stage of life. This was inspired by growing up in a single parent household and really not having the support of my older sister growing up, and needing that older sister to guide me and to lead me and to take me under her wing. And when I realized that I didn't have that in my older sister, I just became that person myself and wanted to give people that confidence and that big sister and that motivation and that love and support that I once needed. And so since then, I've traveled across the country over the past 10 years helping thousands of teens build that confidence. And some of the things that stick out to me the most is walking into a room and seeing a teen that you can just tell that they're just something is holding them back from blossoming and showing that sparkle that we all have, but sometimes we're afraid to show for whatever reason. And just taking a moment to have a one-on-one with them, whatever it may be, it could be very small. And I can think of two girls in particular at a school last year in 2025, and they just, when teens like look at you and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty. Like, I want to say something to you, but like I don't know what to say because I'm scared and I'm afraid that somebody's gonna make fun of me for saying something that, right? I could notice that. And I was talking to them and it came out that English is not their first language. And yeah, and that they're from, I think, like the Dominican or Venezuela or something like that, and they came to the US. And they felt that they were somebody that couldn't fit in because English wasn't their first language. But the second that I shared with them in that intimate moment that, well, hey, I actually studied Spanish in college, they were like, what? Like, that's actually a cool thing to know, right? Like, they saw that in that moment that they could too blossom and be proud of the things that make them unique, and those things that make them unique and different are the things that will inspire so many people, just like my height, right? Like giving people confidence to step out and do something that they may feel insecure about, but in reality that's the thing that actually makes you special and will inspire so many other people. So those are just some special moments. The one that comes to mind that I think of with my platform, but such an impact that I've had over the years, and certainly there is from 10 years ago to where teens are today, completely different in terms of what they need to hear. But it's been such an impact to be able to inspire these teens at every stage of life, from kindergarten all the way up to your university type age group. I've seen it all. I've done it all, and it's been extremely rewarding.
That's awesome.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much. This was really cool. So I really appreciate all of your insight and information. Um, I think you've answered all my questions. Is there anything that
Perfect.
you'd like to share? Anything I didn't ask that you wish I would have asked?
You did a wonderful job. And what I would say is this. I thank you so much for welcoming me to your series and for trusting me and letting me have an opportunity to share my story and do so freely. And I'm wishing you so much luck in your upcoming competition. I actually had the chance to spend some time with your Mrs. Petite USA. Yes, at Fashion Week in New York Fashion Week in September? Yeah, September. Time is flown by. And what a gem she
Oh,
is.
Claire is
So
wonderful.
I know. And it's just such a blessing to be able to cross paths with so many beautiful women, including yourself. So if you haven't had a chance to meet her in person, I'm so excited for you because she is really such a gem. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful time. And for anyone listening, I can't like this. I'm so passionate about, which is why I'm so passionate about helping teens. Just know that the things that you may feel insecure about, whether it's your height or whatever the case may be, you are not bound by that, right? Like you can break outside of that box that so many people feel like they want to put us in because we are less than in some way. You can break outside of that box. And I really hope that your story continues to inspire so many people through your series, and I hope you get that chance to speak on stage at your competition upcoming and spread your heart and your message with so many people as well. And wishing you just so much luck and success.
Thank you so much.
You're
That's
welcome.
Thank you.
You're
Well,
welcome.
I hope you have a relaxing rest of your evening.
Thank you so much. You too.
I'll see you online.
All right, we'll see you soon. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.